Welcome everybody to Everyday People. We want to start off by just saying thank you for tuning in with us on our first ever episode with our founders, PK and Lady D.
We had a phenomenal first episode with you guys.
Absolutely.
We are so excited that you're back to join us again, and we want to jump right in today. We have an incredible topic we're going to be talking about.
And that topic is, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about, we're going to talk about sex, okay? And to get right into it, let's welcome to the stage Dr. Derrick Varner and respiratory therapist Pamela Turner.
How are you? How's everybody?
How you doing?
Wonderful.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Good to see you. All right. Y'all can have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you. Good to see you. I see you, one-legged Willie. There you go.
Exactly.
Go and have a seat. Now.
All right. Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves. I know you come from the medical profession, and we just want to hear a little bit, just give us a snippet of what you do.
Yes. So I'm what they call a family medicine physician assistant. I've been doing practice in medicine for nearly 2 decades. And so I love family medicine. We see from cradle to grave. So we see all ages, all genders, all take care of all disease states. And at the appropriate time, we refer them to specialty care if need be.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Varner. And Pam, tell us about you.
Well, my name is Pam Turner. I'm the Director of Respiratory Therapy at St. Luke's Baptist Hospital, and I've been practicing respiratory for about 26 years. Still have a love and a zeal for it.
Yeah, but what are some of the things that you want the public to know more of in regard to how serious sex is, the effects on the body, and things of that nature?
Yeah. So I would say, first of all, sex is a gift, and it should be shared between a married couple, a man and a woman. And I would say there's 2 purposes to sex. First of all, sex is for procreation, and the other one that we need to understand, and it has a breadth and really dive into, it's for pleasure in the confines of a marriage.
Absolutely.
It's so important. And the one thing I like about medicine is that we as human beings are biological creatures. And we have anatomical structures with our genitalia that fits uniquely together.
That's correct.
And so that's so important
That's
for a
correct.
man and a woman to have sex. So important.
If I can push back on that, you know, for some of our viewers who may be watching, one might say, you know, after hearing you say, I believe it's for one man and one woman, again, there are different views out there.
Yes.
Is there a reason that you think that? Not just maybe from your own personal belief system, but even from maybe a biological system, ideology, or from your background?
Yeah.
You know, why do you believe that it's for one man?
There's some disadvantages to having multiple partners. One that comes to mind is sexual transmitted infections. And there's a laundry list of them, but some of the big 8s, I'll just cover some. Some of the big ones are, you know, chlamydia, which is the most common, and gonorrhea. You've probably heard the drip or the clap.
Yeah.
Herpes,
Yes.
HIV. Most of the time when people are not married and they jump from one relationship to another, you need to ask the question, what is your sexual history? Have you had a sexual transmitted infection? Do you currently have a sexual transmission? Any lesions on your genitalia? Because in the heat of the moment, do you ask the person,
No.
let me see your penis, let me see your vagina? No, you just dive right
Medical
into it.
records,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, let me see your medical records.
Well, we're at a point in society where you do need to see medical records.
Yes.
So, yeah, one of the other big ones is the HPV virus.
Big
And that's a big one because we have sexual practices now such as anal sex and,
Yes.
and oral sex. And actually, the HPV virus actually causes cancer whatever area is in. Usually it is cervical cancer from the vaginal area. But now with the practice of anal sex and oral sex, we're seeing a rise of anal cancer in people, and then we're also seeing a rise of throat cancer,
Yes.
and that's from the practice of oral sex as well, and especially when you have multiple partner. I mean, you're having sex unto death, unfortunately.
It is not really, I mean, it seems that there's a lot of fear behind promoting sex being good so that you prevent your kids from going out, but sex is good, right?
Yes, it is.
And it is a gift from God. So what are some of the benefits just physically from having sex?
Oh, wow.
You know,
Yeah.
tell the husbands and wives why they need to have more
Yeah,
sex.
yes. In regular sex, over time, being in a married couple, you increase the blood flow to your head, to your brain, which guess what? Yeah, to the noggin.
Okay.
There you go, and down there too.
That's why I'm so smart.
Yeah, there you go. And so what happens is you have increased blood flow, and that brings more oxygen, which increases more ability to create more brain cells. So one of the benefits is it helps stays off and minimizes dementia.
So for the wives
Yes.
who want smarter husbands, they're saying they need to give them some.
Absolutely. That's a benefit.
Okay.
And here's the other
Okay.
thing. When wives talk about, they're in pain, or even the husband talks about pain, one of the other natural painkillers is endorphins. And so guess what that does when you have regular intercourse or sex? It will increase your pain threshold, so it will inhibit or block the pain receptors.
So instead of popping pills, you can pop.
Hello. There you go.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I digress.
Yes, yes.
Wives, it will actually clear up that headache. I'm just telling you.
Oh, yes.
Clear up that headache, wives. Okay?
Yes. So if you're in pain, you got a headache,
This is amazing.
instead of saying, no, that may be an opportunity.
Yes.
The other thing, let me ask you this, for the ladies, have you ever noticed after you have intercourse and sex, what does the husband do immediately? What's one of your main complaints? What?
Fall asleep.
Fall asleep. So if you're having any insomnia or any sleep problems, you don't need to go to the doctor. You can take a pill. You don't need to take a pill. You can have intercourse.
Yes.
And so that will help out. And one of the other benefits that I love is with these endorphins, it helps with depression, believe it or not. And
that's
so
huge,
you have
right?
serotonin release, and those things will help. So those beneficial. And also for the women, heart disease, it decreases that, because if you have more intercourse and sometimes the estrogen levels, that will help reduce heart disease. And me and Pam was talking, it increases your suppleness of the face.
I'm sorry.
Suppleness.
Did you say supple?
Supple.
Okay.
Soft.
Supple.
Plump.
Soft.
Yes,
Plump.
yes.
We still talking about
It increases
face?
the collagen in the face.
That's
Yes.
what we're talking
Exactly.
about.
Okay. Okay.
Well, and it
Sex and
bonds
marriage.
you. As a woman, it bonds you to that man, and I think that's part of the challenge in the premarital sex, is that you're then bonded to this man. He's caught what he's chasing, ladies, and he has no reason to continue to pursue you once he's caught you at that point. And so all of that, I think God designed it, right, to really make that bond. It's just when we abuse it or do it too early.
If we allow ourselves to have premarital sex, we actually invited harlots. We opening doors, and so you never get rid of that person or persons that's in your memory bank. And believe it or not, in marriages, sometimes that competes with your spouse. And so that's a watch out. That can be a huge red flag.
Well, it has been a pleasure. Before we get out of here, is there anything that you would like to say, just from your heart, from your own experience, from your incredible medical background, that you would speak to our watchers when it comes to this topic?
Well, one thing I would say first of all, I would say I want you to be more successful than me, meaning that I too was exposed to pornography at an early age, and you got to protect what you hear and what you see, especially with today's technology. It's so easy to get access to those images, and so you want to protect what you see and hear, and actually seek out, talk to your parents for those teenagers and those young adults. Seek out mentors, talk about it, be open. If you have questions, open it up to you feel comfortable with your medical professional, feel free, because it is one of those areas that can be a little touchy and a little taboo, but we're here for you. Yes.
Thank you for your transparency with that, and it's about shining a light on it, right?
Yes.
That's what we're doing here, guys. We're talking about something nobody's talking about, to shine a light on it, right? Thank you. Sorry, Pam, go ahead.
And for me, it's just know your value and know your worth.
Yes.
Know who you belong to. I speak to a lot of women, and especially young girls, on who they are and who God created them to be. And He created them to be just wonderful women of God that shares themselves in the confines of marriage. One of the things that I took from Lady D that I shared with Lindsay, that you're a gift. You're a gift.
Yes.
You're the gift. And that gift should not be open until your wedding night.
Absolutely.
You're the gift. Remember that.
Good deal.
That's awesome.
Thank
I
you
love
so
it.
much for that. So this has been an amazing and very informative conversation. We want to turn it around, though. We want to bring up power couple, David Michael and Shawn Wyatt. Welcome to the show, y'all.
Thank you.
We're so
Good to be
excited
here,
you're
man.
here.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. How are you?
How y'all doing?
Hey, how's it going? Good to see y'all.
How are you guys?
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So, what y'all think so far? I know y'all were listening backstage. You heard a lot of medical advice on the benefits of sex and being fairly newly married. What'd you think?
I think I hear one of your benefits of sex.
That's good.
Our opening thing.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I didn't even know that was possible. Certain things that the doctor's talking about, but apart from that, I appreciated the conversation.
It was a great conversation. I was like, sick for what? Depressed for what?
And so how did the two of you meet?
Long story short, we met at a concert in Houston, Texas. Now, I like to tell people the backstory about our interaction. I saw my wife on TV, and looking at the TV, I said, Lord, if I can have a wife like that, I might be all right in life. 7 years later, I met my wife. And in conversations, man, I knew. It was probably the second conversation that she and I had, sitting across the table at a California pizza kitchen. I knew she was gonna be my wife. I said, I gotta get my life together because I'm gonna marry this girl.
Chills. That's a good one.
This was all unbeknownst to me because we were friends. We were friends for like a whole year. After that,
He had to get his act together, right?
Had to get my life together, see?
but here in his mind, we were dating, and he didn't tell me.
Oh, you one of those. So you were his girlfriend for about a year and a half. I was his mind.
We were going out,
I didn't.
spending money on each other.
I said
We were not sleeping together.
We were not sleeping
We were
together.
not sleeping together, but we were, hanging out, and sometimes he would pay, sometimes I would pay. We would get each other gifts sometimes, but in my mind, that doesn't equal we are in a monogamous relationship. This could just be my good friend.
So how, well, one, did you have premarital sex, or how did you wrestle with the idea of, the attraction that a man and a woman has, and wrestling through whether you should, shouldn't, and so on and so forth? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, we did not.
Okay.
We didn't even come close.
Wow, that's good.
We didn't even see how far we could get without going all the way. Very early in our relationship. Now, neither of us came to the relationship virgins, but at the point where we started dating, I guess we had both come to an understanding within self that sex is not going to be a part of another dating relationship. And for me, several years had gone by already, so I was already in the practice of celibacy. And so that for me wasn't going to be an issue because my mind was already made up about that, right? But I had never dated a guy who also had his mind made up in that way, and he did. So much so that I would be like, okay, at least we can kiss. And he was like, no, we can't. And I was like, what? You even like me? and that's a whole other topic of how mentally, when you've had other partners and when you've been taught different things by people in your life, as a woman, you can perceive advances as love
That's good.
or as interest
That's
or,
real good.
or as attraction. So for me, it was hard to accept that this man could possibly really be attracted to me, but you won't kiss me. So I had to battle with that because I would beg him to kiss me all the time, and he would be like, "We're not, because if we kiss, we're gonna have sex." And I would be like, "No, we're not. Now wait a minute.
Right.
I like you, and I'm attracted to you, but you're not getting it. Like we're not doing it." Now, because that was my absolutely not, right? But for him, he let me know, like no, you don't understand. Everyone has to know their own triggers and things, and I'm telling you that's not a good idea. So we were only basically able to kiss on the lips, and it was the quickest peck kiss ever, every time basically until our wedding day.
So good. I know we're both just like, good.
Well, no, I wanted to go back to something that you said. It seemed like the reason that you were wanting that kiss is because you associated any kind of physical intimacy from a man as love. And if you're not getting that type of attention, then that says something about maybe how much they care or how much they really
Yes,
really
and,
want
and,
you.
I wasn't sure if we were really in a relationship like that early on. Like I thought, you know, sure we like each other, but this could go nowhere. Because I've had other experiences where it was clear that there was a sexual attraction, but we didn't progress to a relationship. So it just was like a thing, like this is just your buddy or something.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I might have wanted something to solidify, this is more than just friends.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. So, as a man,
Yep.
we know that we're very physical.
Yes.
And it doesn't take physical touch, just by sight.
Yes.
It can, you know, trigger. So, like, how difficult was that for you? And you mentioned some of the boundaries that y'all, you know, put in place, but speaking to other men who wrestle with this or may not even think about it, not only what are some of the benefits of allowing yourself to stay strong and put in certain things in place to prevent yourself from going down that road, but how also did you wrestle with it emotionally, mentally, going through that period?
Of course, it is something to deal with because as a natural man, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be looking at her and a thought is going to trigger like, hey, oh yeah, you know, this could happen, that could happen. Let's make that happen. So it's practicing self-control and knowing my triggers and knowing, all right, 10:30. Listen, let me go into the house because once sleep gets in, my self-control goes down, my protectors go down, and I'm just like, we wide open out here in these streets. What we doing? You know, like what are we doing? So I had to practice maturity. I had to practice being a man. I had to practice being a man and understand, all right, if I'm going to do this, I got to really do it. I got to really do it. So at 10:30, 11 o'clock, she was like, all right. And I was like, you know, yeah, it's time to go. Let me go into the house. And I'm driving back to my house 30 minutes from where she lived. 40 minutes.
50 minutes.
Jesus, it was far. But I'm driving back to the house thinking like, dang, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Why? And then once I get to the house, I'm like, all right, you all right, go to bed, bro.
In that time of just protecting the investment, you also built up some character traits in yourself that allow you to be more responsible as a man. So the next time a challenge, what's more difficult than to shut down a natural physical desire that's going to be there regardless, right?
Yeah.
Now you take that same practice that you did protecting that investment into work, into your craft,
Into food.
into food. You know what I mean? So that's a great example for men. That's a great model to follow, that you're not just not having sex, you're being a responsible man.
Yeah.
And I think that's the message that many young men need to hear.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's not easy. We don't want to paint the picture like this was a walk in the park. It's a decision, and it's being committed to the decision. And it's knowing like we both can't do this. We're gonna regret this in the morning. And you know what I'm saying, I don't want this relationship to end up like my last relationship. So let's be committed to it, and let's just say no. Come on.
We talking about not and all of the pre, but now that you are married, you know, there's a lot of questions that people have about marriage and sex and what's allowed, what's not allowed. You know, get a little freaky in my marriage and all that stuff. How do you wrestle with those types of questions? How often should you have it? Is it okay to say no? You know, should you?
Listen, for us, I think. I don't think I would like to distract the word wrestle, because for a marriage, it should not be a wrestle. It should be a conversation.
Yes.
Like
and
we talk about it like, hey, so what's your expectation on how many times we need to do it? And she's gonna share her expectation. I'm gonna share my expectation on how many times, and we meet in the middle if it's not in line.
Yeah.
You know. So it's that for us, it's just communicating.
So we have an online question from one of our viewers. And this is to everyone. The question is, how freaky can you get in your marriage?
Interesting.
The marriage bed is undefiled.
Speak on it. Speak on it. Hello.
I don't subscribe to just everything is all good once you get married. I feel like certain things are, you could do them, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the most beneficial later on. Because certain things I feel like opens the door to stuff. People feel like, okay, pornography.
That's good.
Well, we can use it in our marriage, right? Sure, you could, but that's not something I would ever hope that we would ever involve in our marriage, because I feel like now that's going to open the door for some stuff.
Yeah.
And what happens when I'm not around? Now, because we're married, can you still use this? We travel, and my husband is on the road sometimes weeks at a time. So if we put certain things and allow certain things in and welcome that, does that mean when he's on the road now he's going to be with this computer and then not be with me? Like, what? All of those things for me are reasons why, as a married person, I feel like now some things might not be as profitable or beneficial for our marriage.
I love it.
Now you all have been married for, well, you're not married
Right.
to one another, but you both are married have been married to your spouses for quite some time.
Yes.
Well, what is your take on
So
that?
you want to go
idea?
first?
Well, I've been married for 26 years.
Man, that's awesome.
Hashtag goals.
And I agree with Shawn on there's some things that you just don't want to open the door to because down the line that could cause some problems in your marriage. But for me, foreplay is everything. Everything. You know, for women, we're not a microwave. We're oven. You got to preheat it. and it's what you and your spouse mutually agree upon on what that preheat time actually looks like. For me, you know, hey, Mr. Turner still got it going on. His voice still gives me a
Well, David, Shawn, we asked these two beautiful people if they had something that they wanted to share with our watchers that was really just kind of a takeaway from their life, like a good learn that if you could just go, you know, oh, I'm a wise person, I'm going to give you these words of wisdom. What would you share?
Go ahead.
I think I would share. There's benefits in waiting for a person. There's benefits in waiting for marriage. A lot of benefits that I can really think of that I can probably go down a list that I feel like I've experienced. So it's worth the wait. I think that's what I would tell people. And also, I would also tell people, learn your triggers if you don't know them. Learn your boundaries if you don't know them. That will keep you in the wait.
So thank you all again for being here. This has been very informative. I know I've learned a lot.
I've learned a lot.
And I'm sure our viewers have done just the same. But we want to turn it over to Word on the Street. Andre is out in the city of San Antonio right now. I think he's at Pure Juice, finding out other ways to get your body right. Andre, what you got for us, man?
Maurice, Bridget, hello. This is Andre Cooper for Word on the Streets, and I'm out at Pure Juice. 21019 US 281 Suite 840. Come on through. I'm telling you, we're getting ready to have a phenomenal time. I'm going to talk to one of the employees. I'm going to talk to a couple of customers. I'm going to tell you why they're here and why you should be here. Pure Juice, it's the place to be. Man, I'm here and I have my buddy Shane, and I call him my buddy because we took a shot together. I ain't, they'll say we ain't do no shots together. Look, he got that TV smile. It's just all glowing. Shane, man, you come here all the time, huh?
I do.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite one? Tell
I
me.
love the turmeric shots and the ginger shots. Actually, the acai bowl is probably my favorite. So
What you have here?
this is a Green Acres immunity boost.
Just so
Good
y'all
stuff
know.
right here.
Bam. And y'all wonder what I'm holding? The shots. Boy, you don't want to take a shot. If you want some energy, come on out here and get this shot. You take shots all the time?
I mean, yeah, why not?
You kind of look like a shotter.
You know?
You do.
You know, I'll
you
take
like
it.
that. You like them shots? Which works better, the shots or the juice?
I'm gonna do different things, but it works out. It's good for the body. You only get one, so gotta take care of it, you know?
Man, I'm getting healthy just standing here next to you. You know what I'm saying?
We in the journey together, brother.
Man, I sure appreciate you stopping by to talk with us. Everyday people, man, we are handling business and we've taken shots with Shane. Andre Cooper, and I'm standing here with Mr. Staples. Mr. Staples, tell me something. What is it that you like about the juice here at Pure Juice?
Man, it's just fresh. It kind of gives me energy. The kids like it. You know, we basically, anything healthy that they're going to drink, I'm all for it. So,
How old are your kids?
I've got a 13-year-old, 10, and 7. So,
Wow, you got 10-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and a 13. You can get a 13-year-old to drink pure juice?
Absolutely. all girls, and so if they're gonna drink it, I'll take it. So we're not doing the cleanse plan or anything, but we just like to drink the juice. It's tasty. So.
Well, all right, well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And I'm standing with Miss Kayla, an employee here at Pure Juice. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I know that's right. Doing great. Listen, you've been working here for a number of years. What have you learned about juicing from start to this point?
Start to now, I learned just how much goes into actually making one bottle of juice. It takes about 2.5 pounds of fruits and vegetables on average just to make one juice.
Wow.
Yes.
My goodness. And so with that being done, the process, you not only make juices, you do make meals here as well. Am I right? Is that correct?
Yes. We do smoothies. It's a great meal replacement, as well as acai bowls.
Oh, okay. So are you the meal cooker, preparer, or
yes,
what do you do?
I do make smoothies. I do make acai bowls. We just rolled out meal prepping with Legends as well, so we'll have lunch and dinner options available too for pickup.
Listen, I know you all have, I've tasted a few of your juices today, and I want to thank you for lacing me up because I am a detox man.
Hey, there we go. Absolutely.
But listen, I've had a great time out here at Pure Juice.
I'm
you
glad.
are a great person. Show them your shirt real quick.
Yay!
The backside. That's what I was talking about. Pure Juice. Y'all be sure to get out here. We're out.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us here today on Everyday People, and thank you for watching with us.
We had a phenomenal time today. We are so glad that you joined us, and we hope you'll come back next time. Our next session is going to be more money, more problems, and we're going to do some deep dives just like we did today.
Absolutely. And lastly, we want to thank our main sponsor, Now Word Covenant Church. And if you'd like more information on how you could be a sponsor, you can reach us at everydaypeople@nowword.org.
We'd also love to hear from you. Catch us on our Facebook page at Everyday People Talk Show, or you can catch us on Instagram at Everyday People Talk.
There it is.
Until next time.
Hey. Hey, I'm Everyday People. You Everyday People? Are you Everyday? Oh, they Everyday. Hey, that's everyday in the room, people. Hey, okay. Get up.